What's going on? Straight to the point. Let's get right into it. Uh, I want y'all to hit the like button and sub to this channel if you're not a member. And please hit the notification bell so you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. Uh, oh yeah, man. We gonna continue to talk about Ant and hold him accountable. Okay. Ant has really stirred the pot, so to speak. Ant has ruffled a lot of feathers, so to speak. Ant has made guys who've been quiet about uh, this this particular subject. He's made them speak loud. Before I continue any further, man, let me go ahead and give a shout out to the brother True Raw for TV. He was the one that talked about this first. Okay. If you're not sub to the brother True Raw for TV, definitely go sub to his channels. Um, Dope content, top rank, in my opinion, first in terms of historian on YouTube. Okay, and I don't say that about many people. There's only two guys that I feel that are worthy of that title. Okay, throughout this whole entire social media. But let's go ahead and begin, man. Now, KG man has come out and had basically on Ticket and Truth on a podcast with him and Paul Pierce. Um, he basically responded to what Ant Man said in terms of MJ being the only skilled player, and he basically said flat out that none of these guys could play that are playing now could play in that era back then. And this is a guy, KG, who is an All Star, a perennial All Star, Hall of Famer, NBA champion, uh, All NBA. You name it, KG got MVP. You name it, KG got it. Okay, he got the hardware. Okay. Now he might not have no Finals MVP, some of that other stuff, but he's worthy of giving his 2 cents. But he basically said that a lot of these guys could not play back then because, for one, uh, this is something that I've kind of touched on briefly in terms of freedom of movement. Okay, that's one of the things that he talked about is freedom of movement. Okay, freedom of movement, meaning that you know the league now, especially when they took hand checking away, uh, that pretty much opened up Pandora's box in the early 2000s to allow guys, uh, more spacing on the floor and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't that type of spacing back then. And he also said that there wasn't no. I like when he said, there wasn't no triple step back or whatnot. He talking about talking about like the James Harden move and all that other stuff that that guys are getting away with and stuff like that. I gather that's what he's talking about. But he said, man, you had to basically be skilled and strong enough. Not only had to be skilled, but you also had to be strong enough. You had to be a combination of both to get past guys that were in front of you. Okay, and then he alluded, he alluded to, like a 6'7", Dennis 6'7", 6'8" Dennis Rodman. They're saying that they didn't have those type of guys, you know, like they do now back then. That were just solely dedicated just to one one thing, like a Dennis Rodman, who was able to guard pretty much all five players on the floor without getting tired, that sort of thing. Okay, but I want to stay with Ant Man for just a second though. Listen, man. What man is you pretty much have let it be known without saying it that you're pretty much better. The guys that that played back then, you could get past those guys, and you could cook pretty much all those guys. Now we'll never know, and to the generation credit now, you know, everything evolves. Everything evolves, man. Everything gets better over time. But we have to understand, man, that you know back then it you really had to understand that you pay a price if you came through the middle like that. It's kind of like with football, right? Oh, let me take this. It's kind of like with football. It's kind of like with football. You know that if you go through the middle, man, you're gonna have to pay a price, man. And it was the same thing as basketball. If you came through, into the inside with the intent that you were gonna try to dunk on somebody, or you was gonna try to, there was a no layup rule. Guys didn't want you to get no layup without any type of physicality and stuff. And see, a lot of people, man, like I had to talk about. Shout out to the brother Lemon Pepper Lou, or Lou the Rider. I'm glad he had brought this up. He was saying that he misses the old physical games, the old dirty games, stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people that when we talk like that, they look at the game as being just straight WWE, guys slamming each other and stuff like that. What's up with it, Angelo Bell? I see you in the building, man. Man, I'm just chilling, man. Everything good, man. Rocking and rolling, man. We talking about what KG said about Ant Man's comments. Okay, and like I said, man, I want to get everybody's perspective on it. But KG basically has said that a lot of pretty much nobody would be able to last in today's game. Now we can sit up here and say, oh yeah, well these guys are big. Some of these guys are bigger. Some of these guys are faster. Some of these guys are stronger. All that other stuff. Yeah, that's great. But like I said, man, we're still forgetting a key component to what we're talking about here, and that is the mental part. That's the psychological part. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be able to handle a guy like Bill Laimbeer that's going to be able to knock you to the floor? And are you going to have enough sense to know that if you fight more than once or twice, because back in those times they used to let you fight or whatever, are you going to let him psychologically get to you? Because as well as your body too, how you fall and stuff like that. Now, like let me let people know. Let me let people know this first and foremost. I don't appreciate Bill Laimbeer doing. Matter of fact, I don't like any of that dirty. Only one man. There was Zaza Pachulia. There was Bruce Bowen. He played pretty dirty. A lot of people don't talk about this. John Stockton played dirty. Rick Mahorn, they played dirty. These guys, some of those guys played dirty. Okay, but let me let people know, I don't appreciate just straight out dirty. But do I appreciate physicality? Yes, I do. Now, another thing uh, the brother Tura brought up something that was key too, and I like what he said when he said that he, Tura felt like he was in the minority of okay games that are low scoring, a lot of defense. Hey, I guess I'm in the minority with them too because I like defense on both sides. I like it when it's hard to score. You know, a score where it's 96 to 78 or 85, 84. I like games like that. We should not see a 200-point All-Star game. I'm just being real. Please hit the like when you come on in here. Please hit the like, man. What's up with it, Cottage? I see you in the building, man. Now, I'm I guess I'm in a minority too, and it's not that we don't want to see any scoring or anything like that, but that's the way basketball was taught. Like I'll give you an example. If you watch a movie like Coach Carter with Samuel L. Jackson, it's a basketball movie, and it's based on a true story. It's based on Ken Carter, who coached his high school team to a championship and all that other stuff. Well, if you look at what he was doing to prepare his high school team, pretty much what they were doing was running. They were sprinting back and forth on offense and defense, right? Well, that's what the majority of the coaches back, I guess you could say in the old school days or whatever what they used to teach, is that everybody had to sprint back on defense. Everybody was rebounding. Everybody, of course, guards and point guards and wings and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, like the three, they had to get in there and they had to crash the boards too. You said, hey, Ant-Man had better let his game do the talking. Yeah, you're right about that, Cottage. I definitely agree with you. Yeah, he has to let his game do the talking. 100%. He's got to let his game do the talking. If he doesn't, especially because really what you should have did is just and listen, everybody's like I had a guy come in, my comment section. He said, he's and all this. Listen, that's where he's really not standing on anything. He's not standing on any type of business. You're not standing on any business unless you're standing on the stage with the Larry O'Brien in your head. You're not standing on business unless you're standing in there on the stage with a Finals MVP. You're not standing on anything, man, unless you're standing on stage, letting people know we bringing the title, or we brought the title back to Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can stand with Ant all day. I mean, I like Ant's game and everything, but I can't stand with you on this one because I understand that there were more skilled players than just Michael Jordan or whatever. He has what Ant has done, and look, he's young. Um, I don't sit here and harp on it too much. But I think what KG is trying to do is he's trying to school, guys like KG, guys like Magic Johnson, even a guy like Isaiah Thomas. They're gonna school a guy like an Anthony Edwards, letting him know, brother, you really have no idea what you what you're playing against now in comparison to back then. And like I said, man, I have love for all generations, even up to this generation now, because I've seen it. I've seen, listen, uh, so I started watching basketball when I was, I would say around like 4. So that was, in the 80s. Started watching it in the 80s. I watched the early 90s. I watched the late 90s, watched the 2000s, watched the mid, 2000, like '05 and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Watched 2010. Now we in the 20 or whatever. You said Ant-Man don't even watch 90s basketball. Here's the thing about that, Angelo, right? And I can, I can, I completely agree with you. Okay. Now here's the thing about that. See, my thing is this, right? About the '90s. If everybody's always, why do they put the reason why they put the '90s as such this, a prestigious. They put the '90s as this prestigious stamp, as if it's the poster for physicality, and it wasn't. The '90s actually was softer than the '80s. I want people to understand that. You know what I'm saying? And some people would even say that it was softer than the '70s and even the '60s. The '90s wasn't that hardcore. The '90s wasn't as hardcore. Now physicality was still there, but they actually made it a lot less physical in the '90s. Believe it or not. So that's why, like, when everybody talk about, oh yeah, the '90s and all this other stuff in terms of how physical it was and all this other stuff. Listen, I'm here to tell you, the '80s was way more physical, man. I'm here to tell you. You said, and guess what? Ant-Man has to step up and actually lead his team to the playoffs. Yeah, well, I mean, he did that last year, and he led his team to the Western Conference Finals. That's phenomenal. Okay, I'm not going to take anything away from him, but he's got to get better. Everybody's saying, yeah, Ant-Man's good, but he got to get better. You know what I'm saying? Ant-Man's good, got to get better. They said the same thing about Jordan. Hey, he made the playoffs. It wasn't good enough for Jordan just making the playoffs when he's getting beat by Larry Bird. It wasn't good in which Michael Jordan never got past Larry Bird. Let's just put that out there. Okay? I have to put that out there. But guess who did? Isaiah Thomas was able to get past Bird. But that's neither here nor there, okay? We're not going to talk about that. Okay? Not going to talk about that. Not going to go down that road. But Michael Jordan had to get past. He had to get past. Had to get past Detroit. He had to get past whoever was in front of him in order for him. He had to get better. He had to get better with his shooting when he first came in. Some people said, he needed to improve on his defense. Me, myself, from looking at Michael Jordan and looking at the type of defense that he played and everything like that, I did not think that. I think he gambled. I think he gambled quite a bit. If we're gonna go there in terms of him improving on the defense, I think he took a lot more risk and everything. But in terms of him not playing no defense at all, like he was a Luka Doncic, just standing there not being able to do something, or he couldn't individually lock you down, that is a hell of cap right there. Because Michael Jordan could not only individually lock you down, but he can also play good help and team defense as well. He was good at the backside help. He could definitely play the passing lane, and that's what I was talking about in terms of him in terms of the passing lane. Sometimes he gambled a lot. If you go back and you go look at a young Michael Jordan, sometimes he gambled. He gambled sometimes, but that was something that he needed to work on. He didn't quite gamble too much. It's just like when he kind of gambled a little bit. He was trying to gamble, with AI. You know what I'm saying? He had, AI had him dancing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But that was a new generation coming in. But he was able to recover, able to. Next time he played AI, he figured, okay, this isn't gonna happen again, because they wore him down in the media. Like I remember when that happened when Iverson shook Jordan. Oh man, it was must see TV. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. I remember I was in the seventh. I was like in the seventh, eighth grade. Everybody was talking about it. Matter of fact, there was some people. They were like, there was one point in time when everybody had kind of stopped. They didn't stop buying Jordans, but they kind of slowed down on buying Jordans. They chose to get the Bubba Chucks, the AIs. You know what I'm saying? The questions during that time. Yes, MJ. They played. Yeah, he played defense. He played. Jordan was psycho on both ends of the floor. Okay, y'all see. The problem is that a lot of the young guys, they're looking at Jordan. They're looking at Jordan defense when he was with Rodman and Pippen and stuff like that. Which it was solid defense, still pretty good defense. I want you to go look at the defense that he played when he was in Carolina, when Jordan would jump so damn high to block your shot. He would jump so high that he would hit his head on the backboard. He was chasing down. Everybody talk about all this chasing down blocks that LeBron be doing and stuff like that. Jordan was always chasing your ass down. And not only was he chasing you down, he was going to beat you and try to make sure that if you tried to even try to go at the rim, he was going to meet your ass at the rim. I'm talking about a young Michael Jordan. A young Michael Jordan. Not no Jordan, you know what I'm saying, when he, when it was about 90, 96, 97, 98, you know what I'm saying? Even around like 90, 92 and 93 Jordan, none of that. No, I'm talking about a mid-80 Michael Jordan. Okay? Let's understand that, because when they look at, like a Jordan, that's like in the 90, 96, 97 or whatever, they're going to be like, well, man, I could blow past that dude, because, Penny had cooked Jordan on several occasions. Penny Hardaway. Penny would blow past Jordan. There were a lot of guys that was able to get past Jordan, like when they were younger and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when Jordan was 96, 97, 98 and all that other stuff. But you wouldn't, there wasn't very many guys that was able to do that in like 90, 93 and earlier. In 91 and 90 and 89, definitely not 88, 87, 86, 85. You weren't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He was going to stay in front of you and he was going to take your cookies. And you might as well forget about it if he's out in the open floor. He was just too fast, and he jumped. Like, he's literally going to jump from a distance that many guys couldn't jump from. Oh, you remember when he won Rookie of the Year? Damn, Cottage, how old are you, bro? Shoot. Cottage, you around my age? You said you remember when he won Rookie of the Year, man. That's back in 84, bro. I thought you was a young lion, Cottage. fact, I'm a Tar Heel basketball, born and raised. Uh, that ugly. Jordan was chased out. Yeah, he was. And listen, the thing about it is that Dean Smith really didn't want. This is what, and you're a Tar Heel fan, so you can attest to this, Angelo Bell, if you're still there, man. If you're listening, man. Um, Dean Smith did not want Michael Jordan playing all that like fancy stuff that he was doing out in the open floor and stuff like that. Dean Smith didn't even want him playing like that. He did not. He wanted Michael Jordan to play within the system of how North Carolina basketball was supposed to be played. Okay, but it was when he went to the NBA that's when he was able to turn loose and actually be, who he was. I meant to go somewhere, man. What am I doing? I meant to go down. Yeah, right. But I'm saying though, but you said you're still very young. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, so how old are you, man? Like, because you saying you remember when Michael Jordan. Okay, wait a minute. You said you remember when Michael Jordan won Rookie of the Year. That's what I'm saying. Now that was in '84. But you saying that you very young, so I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out how, because if you remember when Michael Jordan won '84 and you remember it clearly, then that means you were an adult in 1984. Like, I'm just trying to make sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, we on the same page, because I don't even remember when he won Rookie of the Year. The fact one everybody, he wanted everybody to touch and shoot. As a matter of fact, coming out of Carolina, um, like when Michael Jordan had got drafted, they didn't think Michael Jordan was gonna. They saw potential. That's why he got drafted at number 3. You know what I'm saying? It was Sam Bowie and and at that time his name was Akeem Olajuwon. It wasn't Hakeem, it was Akeem. But then of course, he became Muslim and everything, and he changed his name to Hakeem. But they drafted them two ahead of them because we had to understand that coming out of college, five slammer jammer, that's what it was about. The Houston Cougars were that squad, and Sam Bowie, he was a beast. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of college or whatever. But yeah, then he was able to turn loose when he got to the league. Now this is a lot of people got to understand, man. A lot of people got to understand, man. When it was his time to get ready to play and stuff like that, Michael Jordan had went to work, and he did not stop working. See, Michael Jordan. That's why in his clause he has a for the love of the game clause, and it stated in there that he could play anywhere, anytime that he wanted to. I'm at risk, whatever risk that I take in terms of getting hurt and all that other stuff, I'm willing to risk it. So that's why you'll see different clips of Michael Jordan breaking the backboard or out at like a random game or something like that, or he'll go play in the city leagues. Like, he was playing everywhere, and he went to work. He said, "Yeah, I mean, I saw highlights of MJ rookie. Okay, all right. Okay, now I know. Okay, I was about to say, man, that you said you remember him winning. Listen, when you say that you remember him winning uh, rookie of the year in '84. Okay, I'm thinking you were there. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, you were there. You you saw it on TV or something like that. I'm like, you you were a grown adult if you remember it, or you was like 18, 19 or something like that. I was like, man, you must be way older than what I am. But you were saying that you were young or whatever. But I know what you mean now. You know what I'm saying? You clarified it. But yeah, man, like KG had a solid point, man. He hit on some solid point. Uh, you know, you had to have moves. You had to have counters. You, uh, your move had to be just as good as your first move. In case you're met with another opposition. In case you're met with another guy who's getting ready to stop you. But to be honest with you, here's my thing, right? To be honest with you, man, a lot of the guys really, there's very few guys that take the game just as serious as a MJ or as a Kobe or something like that. Now, do I believe that Ant-Man takes the game really serious? Yeah, I do. Okay. Now he said what he said, but Ant-Man takes the game serious. He takes the game extremely serious. Okay, I'm not going to sit up here and act like Ant-Man doesn't. No, he takes the game serious. You know, but it doesn't excuse what he said. And like everybody's been saying, the way that Ant-Man is going to be able to carry this, man, he's going to have to go out there. Like right now, I'm not. He's going to say what he says regardless. Really, honestly, I think Ant-Man is really laughing at this right now. But there's many guys that's really not laughing at that. You got to think about it, man. These guys are going to use that against him. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to be, always bringing it up. And that's even the people in the media. And we got to see. It's going to be interesting on how he responds to it. You know, Polo, Ant-Man does take the game. Yeah, he does take the game serious. Yeah, he takes the game real serious, man. You know, I've seen Ant work out stuff like that. But you take the game serious or whatever, but you also got to take the history of the game serious too. Because if you're gonna, throw shots at guys and stuff like that, and shade at guys, which, let's just call it what it is. It is shade. We can sit up here and say and act like he didn't know no better and all this other stuff, but it was shade towards the other players. That's why a lot of guys are speaking up now. That's why a lot of guys are, speaking up now. You know, but yeah, like I said, man, I agree with Kevin Garnett with what he had to say. We all know, Kevin Garnett. He came in, he had to play against Jordan. I mean, Jordan was a little bit older because KG had came in '95, I think it was. He came in '95. You know, so he came in at a time when Jordan had came back, and I imagine that he probably played against Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying, out. When he was playing in pickups and stuff like that. Because Michael Jordan, he played pickup from time to time. If you were an elite NBA player, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to go against him and stuff like that. I'm talking about in pickup games and stuff, but uh, he knew what he was talking about. Now everybody is gonna disagree. That you're gonna have your people out there. They're gonna be like, "Oh man, that's impossible. That would never happen." Da 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 da. Just and I'm gonna have to get in the gym and work on the game. Yeah, I imagine he's doing that. I'm not gonna sit up here and say like Ant Man isn't out there working on his game. We know that he's working on his game. I mean, he's got to work on his game. I mean, shoot. Uh, if you think that Minnesota fans are just gonna settle for just them making it to the WCF, then you're crazy. You're crazy. What's up, Alex? If you just think that Minnesota is just gonna settle for just a Western Conference championship, you're sadly mistaken. No, Alex Rodriguez is really set to turn his organization around. He wants to turn his organization around. Ant-Man, I gotta be real, and I'm not trying to listen. He said what he said. Okay, I don't agree with it, but he said what he said. But one thing I will say about Anthony Edwards, he's a leader, but he's got to lead in the right way. Okay, Ant-Man is a leader. Ant-Man is a leader. Let me repeat that. He is a leader. But the type of leadership that he's displaying right now is, in this case right here, is poor leadership. Now, a better leader should have been like not even said anything, or if they had a question to say, he should have just said, "Okay, I appreciate all the greatness." Like I appreciate Anthony Edwards' honesty, but in this case, dog, you let it backfire against you. Yeah, and he's turning it around. Like Minnesota has you know, it kind of reminds me of what the Detroit Pistons are doing right now. Not the Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Lions, what they're doing right now with their team and how they turn things around, slowly but surely. Like Minnesota was, at one point nobody was, there was a point in time when nobody was really talking about Minnesota. They hit kind of a down point. Then of course you had Kevin Love, there and everything, but Kevin Love, despite him, being, a rebounding machine and stuff like that, of course, they knew that, Minnesota wasn't going to go nowhere like that. You know what I'm saying? Then before that, they had a lot of potential with KG or whatnot, but, KG was like, look, I'm I'm hungry for a championship. I'm starving for the championship. I'm tired of losing season after losing season, and knowing the type of competitive fervor that KG was, uh, what was designed with. He wanted to go to a team and finally get his chip. Now he ended up getting his ring or whatever. But I imagine that, knowing how competitive the KG was, he wanted more titles than that. He was looking at Duncan winning titles, who was his rival. You know what I'm saying? At that power forward, sometimes slash center spot. You know what I'm saying? Because KG played both. You know, and he rivaled Duncan. So he was looking at Duncan constantly winning championships. You know what I'm saying? Because they won, they were winning. Duncan was winning on KG's watch. He won his first one in '99, then won his next one in 2003, then won another one in what was it? I think it was in '05, then one in '07. You know what I'm saying? So he was looking at that, and he was like, he said to himself, he said, you know what, man, this MF, you know what I'm saying, Duncan, man, keep winning and stuff like that. I'm ready to get some titles and stuff like that. You know, he made that move. A lot of people, you know, well, they uh they made the moves for him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. And I like the title that they got. Like '08, I was happy for KG. Now I don't agree with some of the antics that KG did. You know what I'm saying? I don't like some of the stuff that KG did. You know what I'm saying? But as far as a competitor on the court, stuff like that, man, that guy was unbelievable, man. What's up, Ted? You said, yep, the Spurs were the dynasty of the 2000s. Now, see, a lot of people question them being, a dynasty because they weren't able to repeat. Okay, the Spurs were never able to repeat, but they did get, you know, going into the 2000s, you knew that the Spurs were going to be a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, almost, but unfortunately, that did not take place. I mean, they probably could have played together and everything, but I don't know. I just have a funny feeling, man. Like for some reason, Ted, man, sometimes I look at that, man, and I wonder if that really truly would have worked out. A lot of people, like I look at if the CP3 trade had it been, if they would have let that go, if they would have actually uh, not vetoed, the trade or whatnot, then guess what? If they would have went, if CP3 would have went to the Lakers and played with Kobe Bryant, I don't really actually. A lot of people want to get like and say, "Oh yeah, man, they would have won the championship. We would have won the championship and stuff like that." But you never know what could have happened. Could CP3 have gotten hurt? You know what I'm saying? Could Kobe, you know, I guess like had an off shooting night. You never know what could have happened. But we just can't guarantee that they would have won a championship together. Hey, the Celtics did win in 2008. Yeah, they did. They won in '08. Yeah, they did. Ugh. Yeah, they won in '08. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying. And Ted, it looked like I agree with you 100%. See, that's the thing. Everybody think I'm talking about talent wise. No, CP3 talent wise. If CP3 would have got two rings, I would have been. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I would have had to really think about who I have as starting point at point guard in terms of Isaiah Thomas. I would have had to I would have had to put him in that type of conversation. Then the conversation would have been, okay, now we got Magic. If CP3 would have won two rings, possibly three rings, some people probably would have put CP3 above Isaiah. Did anybody ever think about that? Because there was a point in time consecutively that I think I forget how many seasons straight. I think it was like 4 or 5 seasons. I'm not mistaken. Okay, don't quote me on this. All right, it was at least between 3 5 seasons. He led the league in assists and steals. Yeah, because they were both fierce competitors. They wanted things their way, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he led the league at like it was at least 5 seasons. That's one of the things I appreciate about him. To do that, man, that's phenomenal. To lead the league in both assists and steals, that you know, consecutively like that. And he always was good at keeping. You know, his turnover ratio was was extremely good, man. Extremely good. But he was just, like you said, Ted, man. He wasn't the. Everybody would tell you that. Kenyon Martin said it was difficult playing with him. Um, Rondo has spoke on him, not playing with him, but he's given the real about how CP3 was as a player. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to think that he's a good clean cut image, all this other stuff, but no, he's not. He gets under the skin of people too. It's just like with John Stockton. Everybody thinks that John Stockton. I've said it before. They think that he's just guy that can't do no wrong. That's a complete opposite. And I'm talking about point guards right now. But yeah, man, KG was on the money, man. He did say that a lot of guys, they couldn't play, back then. If you go to if you go to like a gym now, and there are like older players that you see there, don't see don't be surprised if you see a lot of older players that are loving the way that the game is played actually right now. You know why? Because they got so much spacing to do what's necessary for them to do. Penny Hardaway has said that his all of his averages would have went up if he would have played in this generation because you can't really touch anybody. Said CP3 and Blake Griffin got into it. Man, he got into it with everybody, man. He clashed with DeAndre Jordan, clashed with Blake Griffin. He clashed with, of course, he clashed with Doc. I mean, CP3 was, yeah, he clashed, think, because Kenyon Martin was talking about him too. Yeah, Kenyon Martin got into it with CP3. Hey, speaking of CP3, he did play with James Harden and Carmelo Anthony too. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he played. He played with them, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. See, James Harden's stock is going down by and that's a whole nother video. I'm not going to spend time talking about James Harden right now, but that's another thing about James Harden, man. Like you've had a lot of opportunity to play with a lot of Hall of Famers, and you can't get one ring. You said help the Spurs do what? Help the Spurs do what? I hope you're not. I know. I hope you're not talking about help them win the championship. I mean, he gonna be on there and stuff like that, man. But if you're thinking that he gonna do some damage and all this other stuff, nah. But I like what the Spurs are doing in terms. I mean, maybe, man. But Victor Wembanyama, he already has what it takes. You know what I'm saying? CP3, I'm gonna be real with you, man. As much as I like CP3, the only advice that he could give me is how to stay is how to be injured at the wrong at the wrong time and how to be a stubborn individual and 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 how to uh, never get a ring. You know what I'm saying? And I like CP3, man, but his attitude ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, Magic Johnson. People want to think that Magic Johnson wasn't a killer. No, he was a killer. He was a killer on the court. But Magic Johnson knew how. He knew, like Magic Johnson. That's why he's such a good businessman. Magic Johnson knows. And even though I don't have him as I'm just using him as an example. Magic Johnson knew you couldn't talk to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar the same way that you talk to James Worthy, the same way that you talk to Byron Scott, the same way that you talk to Kurt Rambis, the same way that you talk. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you had to approach everybody differently. Like with Kurt Rambis, he probably had to go, man, he probably had to go out there with Kurt Rambis, you know what I'm saying? In terms of him being out there, like, let's say he went to a concert or something like that. he probably was like, hey Kurt Rambis, hey, you and Linda, you know what I'm saying? Let's go out, you know, to like a hippie dance or something like that. Or something like that, or hey, when it comes to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he probably was like, you know what, hey Kareem, man, let's let's talk about this, let's talk, he was in the martial arts or something like that. He probably was like, yeah, the only way that you're gonna be able to talk to me is you're gonna have to watch me train or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, okay, you see how he was able to learn from Norm Nixon, even though that Norm Nixon was trying to make him a fool and everything. And Norm Nixon was the starting point guard and everything, but eventually he ended up taking his spot and everything. But he actually learned some things from Norm Nixon or whatever. And then with Pat Riley, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you had different sets of personality, and you got to be able. That's Magic's gift. He was able to gel with everybody. He was able to gel with Michael Jordan. He was able to gel with Larry Bird. He was able to gel with Isaiah Thomas. They were like, the best of friends. You know what I'm saying? He was able to He was able to talk to Kobe Bryant. He was, when they thinking that Kobe was an asshole, he got along good with Magic. You gotta. He knew how to utilize his gift. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul is not a good communicator, man. And Wemby does got next, man. All these people, yeah, you could talk about him being 7'4", 7'5". If it was that easy, all the 7'4", 7'5" guys would be dominating like they are. But the only guys that really had succeeded at doing that so far is a guy like Yao Ming. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, like, offensive, supremely gifted, stuff like that. You haven't seen no guys like that really come in and really last, the test of time. And I think that Wemby will be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? We thought it was going to be Porzingis, but we see how that's turning out. Now, Porzingis, he got his ring, played good or whatever. But he still got a whole bunch of injury problems. He was constantly hurt in the finals. But I think even though he's 7'4", 7'5", man, that still don't, listen, man, the dude can hoop. He understands the game at such a young age. And you gotta love what he does defensively. This guy can lock you up on the perimeter. He can lock you up at the high post, and he can lock you up on he got to get better in the low post, got to get a little bit stronger, whatever. But he'll be fine because he led the league in blocks. Okay. He understands the pick and roll. He plays better defense than his counterpart in Rudy Gobert. I mean, what are we talking about here, man? This guy was like he was in the conversation for defensive player of the year. Yeah, exactly. Runner up. He was in the conversation. I was just about to say that, Chad. You took the words right out of my mouth. You must have knew what I was thinking. Imagine he would have been the first. He would have been, I think, the first guy in history to win Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year in the same damn season. That would have been phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? That would have been phenomenal. But we knew he was going to win Rookie of the Year, man. Like, you got a 7'4" guy that can handle the rock. You got a 7'4" guy that can pull up from 40. You got a 7'4" guy that can cross you up and step back out in that hole. You got a 7'4" guy that can run the court, nigga. And what the hell is your ass gonna do when he come down the lane? You got a 7'4" guy that could drive baseline. You got a 7'4" guy that could cross you up, spin around, and guess what? If he don't feel like scoring, guess what? I guess y'all forget that Wembanyama was damn near getting triple doubles. This dude could pass the rock too. He could play like multiple positions, but motherfuckers want to sit up here and talk about Wemby garbage. Nigga, get the fuck up out of here. You don't know basketball. You don't know basketball. You don't know basketball, man. That's why, they was in the finals with the U.S. There was nobody else. It was the French. It was the France. Wembanyama is doing this stuff as a rookie. And it's easy to say that, he's this and he's that and all this other stuff or whatever. But if it was that easy, I mean, he would have been like, clearly dominating and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that easy. Is he getting his buckets? Yeah. Is he getting his blocks? Yeah. He's doing what he's supposed to do. There's not many seven. Manute Bol wasn't able to do that stuff. Manute Bol was able to block shots and stuff like that, but he wasn't up in there as agile as Wemby. George Mearson was uncoordinated. God rest his soul. Sean Bradley couldn't play like no Wembanyama. You said, hey, Wemby was not. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to understand, man. When it comes to Wembanyama, man, this guy right here, man. I'm not saying that the Spurs are gonna. They could possibly make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They could possibly make the playoffs. I'm not saying that CP3 is gonna hurt them, but I don't think he's gonna help them. As much. You said Wemby can. Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. He's a phenomenal talent, man. I love the way that he pulls up. Now he does need to work on what he needs to work on, man. He just needs to get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and then and some guys, man, they just never they're never able to quite get that girth on their body like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Kevin Durant, he's not frail or none of that, but he's never gonna be like like a LeBron or nothing like that, real bulky or anything like that. That's just not his body type. But Wembanyama, his length is something unreal, you know. But I can see Wembyama definitely take he gonna take his game to another level. I think this Olympics was good for him. You said and guess what? This past season, Wemby won Rookie of the Year. Yeah, he did. Wemby can get bigger with his shoulders and arms. Yeah, but I don't want him to get like too big. I don't want him to. This is the thing. I don't want him to get like so big to the point where it's because I don't see that happening anyways. But you don't want him to get too big to where he loses his speed and loses his, like his quickness and stuff like that. I want him. I mean, he's not. Listen, the fact that he's still running up and down the court, like that's a blessing. He'll block a shot, then come back, shoot the ball, stuff like that, then get back on defense and stuff like that. Go back and go look. I want this is what I want you to do. I want you to go back, go look at Manute Bol. Go back and go look at like George Mearson when they would block a shot or whatever. They wasn't running up and down the floor. They wasn't like Hakeem in his younger years being able to, chase down blocks, stuff like that and all that stuff. They weren't doing that. Wembanyama's doing that. Wembanyama's keeping up with the guards. Wembanyama's running with the horses. It's not like Wembanyama's handling the rock or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Manute Bol wasn't handling the rock, and of course they weren't gonna let him do that anyways because they weren't gonna let no guards do that. Like Sean Bradley wasn't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Guys like that, they were not gonna do that. Wembanyama, and I'm talking about guys that are 7'4" and taller. Sean Bradley was 7'6". George Mearson was 7'7". Manute Bol was 7'5" or something like that. I don't know. Something. You don't see Taco Fall doing, and I like Taco Fall, but you don't see Taco Fall doing that. Wemby definitely got the step back. But hey, I gotta roll out, y'all. Giving y'all an hour, straight to the point. Shouts out to the LDBC. I'll get at y'all later, all right?